Well, hello and welcome to this English lesson about describing people's flaws. Insecurity, constant self-doubt or need for validation. What this means is that you're unsure of yourself. If a person is insecure, they doubt everything. They aren't sure how to get somewhere. They don't know if when they go to a job interview, they think there's no way I'm going to get the job. There's no way they will like me. A person who is insecure lacks confidence. So a virtue is to be confident in a positive way. A flaw would be to have insecurity, to be insecure and to constantly have self-doubt, to think you can't do something, and constantly wanting people to tell you that you're good at something. Am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? A good example is when you teach someone to do something, if they're doing it right, but they keep asking you if they're doing it right, they are most likely suffering from insecurity. Judgmental, I have this one. When you are judgmental, you quickly criticizing others would be the definition. So someone who is judgmental, a judgmental person is really quick to criticize others. And I said I have this. You obviously don't see this online. And obviously this happens when I'm in a bad mood or when I'm not getting along with someone. I might point out things about them that are not nice things to say. So yes, Bob the Canadian is a judgmental person, sometimes quickly criticizing others when he shouldn't. Pessimism, always expecting the worst. So again, optimism is thinking the glass is half full. Pessimism is thinking the glass is half empty. This one's actually more than half full. It's a little closer. So if you are pessimistic, if you say Joe is a pessimistic person, it means they always think something bad is going to happen. We're going to have to wait 3 hours before we get on the plane. We're going to be stuck in traffic if we drive to Toronto. Always thinking that whatever you're going to do isn't going to work out properly. Let's see here. Manipulative, controlling others for personal gain. If you know someone who is manipulative, this is something that irritates me a lot. A manipulative person tries to control all the people around them. That's why I have the image of someone with the puppet strings. I have unfortunately had this situation happen to me once in my life at a previous place of employment. A person was manipulative in a very negative way. They were always trying to get people to not like each other. They were always trying to get people to feel like other people had it out. It was not. My current job is way better, but at a previous job, I did work with someone who was manipulative. They tried to, if you've worked with someone like this, you know what I mean. They're always trying to change things for their own gain. Perfectionism, setting unrealistically high standards. I have this flaw. Some people think this is a good character trait, but it's usually a bad character trait. If I was a total perfectionist, I would never release an English lesson on YouTube because I would think that I had to keep changing things to make it better. But at some point, you have to put the video online. So someone who is a perfectionist can sometimes have trouble finishing something because they never think it's good enough. They are setting unrealistically high standards for themselves. I think everyone is a perfectionist to a certain degree, but you have to be comfortable with getting things 99% done and then move on to the next thing, not 100% done, because that is very, very challenging. So perfectionism, setting unrealistically high standards. Oversensitivity, taking things too personally. What this means is someone might even say a positive thing to you, but you interpret it as being a negative thing. For instance, if someone said, you changed your hair. and you said, yeah, I'm trying a new haircut, that's somewhat positive. But if someone said, oh, you've changed your hair, and you say, what, does it not look good? Do you not like it? That would be oversensitivity. The person is being oversensitive to whatever someone is saying to you. Greed, an excessive desire for more. This is something that I think all human beings have. Remember, I said some things are on a scale of 1 to 10. I think we all naturally desire more. And I think it depends on how strongly you experience greed. Some people are very greedy, and some people aren't very greedy at all. But we all want enough food, and we all want a house or apartment. We all want things. But greed is when you really want things. So greed would be trying to get more money, even though you have billions of dollars, because you just want more and more and more. So greed, an excessive desire for more money, more things, more cars, more houses. Like I own one house. Some people who are rich own 5 houses, and they want to buy a 6th house. That's a hard word to say, by the way, for English speakers. 6th. They want to buy a 6th house. Gossiping, spreading rumors, or private information. So let me explain the difference. Saying things that aren't true or things that stretch the truth about someone else is considered gossiping, but also telling people things about someone else that is supposed to be private is also gossiping. So if you know that your neighbors down the road are fighting, and you know they fight every night, they're always arguing, and you start telling other people, oh, they're going to get a divorce, that would be considered gossiping. Or even telling someone, oh, they fight every night, I hear them arguing every night. That might not be information they want other people to know. So gossiping, spreading rumors, or private information. Closed-mindedness. Closed-mindedness. It's kind of hard to say the second one. Refusing to consider different ideas or perspectives. As people get older, they usually tend to become more closed-minded. They tend to think that their way is the right way and everyone else is wrong, and they don't want to hear other ideas. They just think, I know what I'm doing. I have experience. I am going to do this my way. So closed-mindedness, refusing to consider different ideas or perspectives, can be a problem. I would argue that as teachers get older, they become a little more closed-minded. They don't want to try new things. They are not excited by new things. They just want to do it the old way. I am not that kind of teacher. I love new things. One of the reasons I got into teaching is because I knew technology would be changing teaching. And I actually like seeing that, learning about it, and doing it. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm very low on closed-mindedness, in my humble opinion. Overdependence, relying too heavily on others. This can also happen with elderly people. They become overdependent on someone else. And sometimes it falls on one person in the family. Sometimes in a family, let's say the parents are in their 90s and only one of their children lives close to them. They might be over dependent on that one child because everyone else lives really far away. That's actually quite common in Canada, where someone might have 3 adult children. They're in their late 80s or early 90s, and they need a lot of care, and they become over dependent on one child. So relying too heavily on others. It also means they can't take care of themselves. I think I'm forgetting that aspect of overdependence. This can also happen in the workplace. Someone new might start and they don't have all the skills to do the job. They might be overdependent on someone who is training them. Maybe they suffer a little bit from insecurity as well, and they become overdependent. Passive aggressiveness, expressing anger indirectly. So I admitted that I am a little bit short-tempered. I express anger quickly. I'm also honest in a bad way. I say things like I see them. But someone who is passive-aggressive will be more subtle. They will be expressing anger indirectly. This is a sign that could go on a fridge at your work. Helpful refrigerator chart. Did I bring this in? Yes. Eat or drink all you want. Did I bring this in? No. Don't touch. Not yours. Sometimes when you share a fridge at work, or maybe you live with roommates and share a fridge, we would call it a communal fridge. Sometimes people eat other people's food. And a passive-aggressive person, someone with passive-aggressiveness, won't talk to the person directly. They won't go and say, stop eating my food. Stop eating my food. Instead, they might put a little sign up, a little bit humorous, a little more passive, like they're not directly talking to that person. But I did there was a more rude sign that I found, but I didn't use that one, but it would have been good as well. Overconfidence. Believing too much in your abilities. This is something that young people are often guilty of. They believe they're better at doing something than they are. And, this is a flaw, but it can sometimes be a good character trait as well. Believing too much in your own abilities can actually help you become a good teacher because you're willing to try things. And then if you fail, you just try again. But sometimes overconfidence is a flaw, like where you just think you don't need to learn new things because you know everything. You learned everything you needed to know before age 20, and now you can do whatever and be successful at whatever you want. We would consider that overconfidence, believing too much in your own abilities.